Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while. It's been over a year since I have reviewed an Italian horror film. But that's because the last horror film I reviewed that was on that Italian aspect was The Beyond. And little do you know, I've gotten copyright claim due to showing like small edited clips that I have made myself. So it kind of discouraged me to review any film based on the based on the Italian franchise when it comes to horror from back then. But I gotta work my way through this fear. And if I do get copyright claimed, I already know how to deal with it. We're gonna be talking about and reviewing this horror film I've been wanting to talk about for a long while now because of this, and it is Inferno. Inferno is an Italian supernatural horror film that has been directed and produced by Dario Argento. An American student investigates the disappearance of his sister and the death of his friend, but soon realizes he's bitten off more than he can chew, where he witnesses that the friend Rose has read a Latin book that tells the tales of supernatural story of three mothers. The student soon begins to think it's all connected somehow.
He watched.
I thought this movie was pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. When it comes to the attributes of indie horror, I'm a little picky when it comes to like certain horror that grabs my attention. When I seen clips and trailers of this movie that was based on Beyond, I was pulled in enough for me to try to see what this whole film was about. And by me watching Beyond, I kind of knew what to expect, you know, when it comes to the grotesque imagery of horror and just how Italian horror films and projects have their little ways of how to make you feel grossed out or just make you want to look away from the screen. Because when it comes to American horror, they do stuff like this, but they don't want to show you too much when it comes to general audiences or when it just comes to people watching stuff like this. We are too political. We have been political for a long while. But that's the reason why I've been wanting to check out indie projects, because when it comes to them making projects when they have a little bit to offer or just a little to start with, they don't hold back at all. And by that method, I really enjoyed Inferno. I thought Inferno was a very good film to watch. The movie picks up in a very fair and creepy pace, while it shows us the atmospheric tones of where this whole film is going to take place in when it comes to the library, the school, the apartment. And they don't just show you the atmospheric tones of the characters that's going to lead us onto this project and unfold the whole story, but it shows us good horror elements as well, just imagery and just certain atmospheric tones of just us feeling uncomfortable and just not trusting our gut when it comes to things not feeling right when it comes to our nature. And I thought that was cool. By me watching this film, I want to know what type of horror they was going to introduce me before the tension and before the kills begin to be in play. But what I like about this film is the fact that they want to give us the more critique tone of appreciation, of showing us the whole areas of just uncomfortability. And I liked it a lot, especially the beginning where they show one of the characters trying to get something out of the water, and we know something's not right. And it gave us mixtures of prediction. Is someone's gonna jump into this water to get her? Is there something in the water? Is she gonna drown? And I liked it that. I was like, you know what? This is filled with so many possibilities of danger, and we get more of that as a whole as a whole story continues. And I was kind of disappointed at the same time, because Shortly after that, we are introduced to this book, and when the book is being read and when we are witnessing the horrors of this whole project, that's when all hell breaks loose. Now, one thing I liked about the Beyond was the fact that before we was witness to horror, we was witness the attributes of what this film was going to be replicated. So when things end up happening, it all played a part. When we are introduced to this book on Inferno, we know very little about the mothers. All we know is that they are literally conjured up and they are literally beings that you don't want to fuck with, but they didn't really give me enough of me to feel fear. Only times I really felt fear was when characters was on the verge of death or how they was getting killed. So I felt like Dario should have added more pacing to how dangerous this book was, or just showing us a past of how dangerous these mothers were before they end up being brung up to the real world. And I think that would have made the whole choreography of the horror stronger. Because, don't get it twisted, when they showed some horror scenes on this project, I was pulled in. I was feeling that fear aspect. And above all, I was feeling like very, very uncomfortable when it comes to a lot of scenes being in play, when it comes to the atmosphere deaths, when it comes to people getting killed, and when it comes to a lot of gore activity. But I feel like when it comes to why they're getting killed and why this horror is happening, it would build up even more if we feel the fear and we feel the intimidation of the main plot and the main enemy that is in play in this whole project. That's what makes it strong. And when it comes to the mothers being involved in this, I didn't feel none of that, honestly. It's just my opinion. I think that when people watch this film or they have seen it, they'll probably know what I'm talking about when it comes to the lack of choreography of the main villain being played in this whole entire movie. I do like the imagery of the horror, though. I think that's what makes this whole film strong, where the scenes stay for a very long time, and they show a lot of deaths on here, a lot of scenes. And there was even a scene where this person was getting eaten alive by rats. I think that was the worst thing that you could ever show me in a horror film, is somebody being eaten alive by animals. And it was horrible, man. It was horrible. Some person got their head cut off by the glass of a window, and it was pretty bad, man. And like a horror film like this, it really does well when it comes to you feeling very, very like impactful of this things about to happen. Normally when you see horror films, they show clips, they show scenes of you getting the idea. But when it comes to Dario's precision of horror making of films like this, he wants you to get the idea and he wants it to boil up in your mind. So when it does happen, it's like him warning you. It's like, you know what, you see this coming. I'm adding a lot of scenes to this. This person about to get killed. So brace yourself. So so I feel like stuff like this is very warranted when it comes to the horror being in front of you, and you just don't have nothing to, like, you can't do anything about it. Just brace yourself of something horrible about to happen. Wrapping this film up, it ended in a way where I kind of saw coming, and I'm saying that again because of the Beyond. I think the Beyond has kind of groomed me into what to expect into watching Italian horror films like this. But it's not bad though. I think a film like this has to end this way. When it comes to humans interacting with supernatural activity, or just monsters or demons or devils being brung into the into the real world, how can you deal with this? How can you get over this? How can you defeat this? Majority of times you can't. It's just all about survival and just making sure you get out of there alive. And that's literally what happened in the ending of Inferno. When everything was explained, the payoff was the only thing that mattered. And the way how it ended, I'm going to tell you right now, it wasn't really a happy ending, but it was an ending where horror films is known for us to walk away and still just think about it and still talk about it. I talked about this film a lot with my wife as we watched it and as we witnessed it. She hated the way how the movie ended, but I told her straight up, picture you in a situation like this. Do you think you would have done better? And then she shut up after that. That's what I liked about this type of film, is that it's realistic. It's not logistic, but it's realistic. And what I mean by that is, people would always talk about the things that they wouldn't do, the things that they would do, the things that they would not avoid, the things that they would not be in contact with. But these are mostly from people that has never witnessed stuff like this. Well, what happened if it did happen? You wouldn't even be thinking at this point. And Inferno, I think the ending, the way how everything was set in play when it comes to the characters and just how they would do things, I think it was ahead of its time. I think the actions of these characters was realistic. And I don't think not one character has done anything out of whack to the point where it was lacking common sense. It was based on a realization of human activity. Overall, this movie was good. It was enjoyable. And above all, I would recommend you guys to watch it. Again, lacking very good variation when it comes to the fear detail of the main source of the three mothers itself. Could have been more polished, could have been more depth, and above all, we could have had more story length of how these three mothers are originated to the fear factor of the whole project. But other than that, I highly recommend you guys watching this movie, especially if you are watching it with people that loves horror. And let me y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments of what y'all think about this film. I'm gonna have to give Inferno a B-. This movie took me 4 years to watch. Even though I reviewed Beyond last year, I bought this first, and every time I watch it, for some reason, I keep cutting it off. I had to build the mindset to watch this, but everything happens for a reason. I'm not complaining. Well, that's all I have to say for today. Please stay tuned for upcoming reviews and videos headed your way. This is Hugo, your critic teacher. I hope you all